Good morning, guys. How is everyone? I know this is a surprise seeing me on camera, but I am doing something new for this week. This is the week of April 5th, and today is actually Palm Sunday, which I didn't know with all this corona stuff going on. I'm actually home a lot. I'm only going to work a few days out the week, and then I lose track of time. So I'm gonna get right to the point because I don't like being on camera. Most of the time my hands are on camera. Um, but what I wanted to do is during this week I've had so much extra time, and I am trying to do a lot of spiritual development, personal development. And so on this week, actually yesterday, I saw a video from Kiara Sheard, and she did a 7-day devotional on camera. So she shared with us her 7-day, or maybe it was 6-day devotional. And I thought that was super cool and a big challenge for me. And one of the things I've been praying about is becoming stronger and bolder in the Lord. So I was like, you know what, with all these challenges that are out here, between the quarantine challenge, the Savage challenge, TikTok challenges, I am going to challenge myself. So my challenge for this week, for the next 7 days, is the Before I Rise challenge. Before I Rise. And so what that is, I am challenging myself because once Corona goes away and life returns back to the old normal, that life will get busy, and we're on the go all the time. And I wanted to start instilling the Before I Rise, where I spend time with the Lord before I actually get up and go to work. That is a huge challenge for me because as I get older, I sleep later and everything is rush, rush, rush. And I normally do my devotion while I'm on my way to work. I'm reading it on the bus using my phone. And so I wanted to give the first part of my day to spending time with God. And so that's what I'm going to do for the next 7 days. I'm going to get in front of the camera. So you will see me with a clean face, clean breath, but in a fresh tee. But yeah, you may see me with a bonnet on. You might see me with a scarf on because I don't want to do too much before I get my day started. And some of the days I'll be going right back to bed after my devotion. But yeah, so I'm doing a Before I Rise challenge for myself. Now, if anybody wants to join me, you're welcome to. 7 days on social media platform. And you have to either tag me or send it to me. And at the end of 7 days. So for me, it's day 1. So I guess we can start for you guys tomorrow. And it could go from Monday to Monday. Or, if you're feeling kind of froggy, leap and start it today. And hashtag it Before I Rise. And at the end of the 7 days, I will, somebody may get a gift. I'll give away a gift at the end of the 7 days. So what I'm doing is, I don't like being in front of the camera, so I get a little fidgety and I start talking with my hands. Sorry, guys. So in Kiara's video, she just gave about 15 minutes of her devotion. And so how I'm doing my devotion is I'm also challenging myself to write it out and write out the thoughts on what I hear God saying to me, not to the church, not to the world, not to the people, but this is what I'm getting out of my devotion for today. So I'll show you the time. I hit the wrong button. I forgot how this works. Okay. So the time is 7:48, and it'll be earlier when I actually go to work because I want to do it before I go to work because I want it to be the first thing. So initially I was going to do this from the bed, but then I thought maybe that was not appropriate. So I actually am rising up and coming down to my office space where I will be doing this. So let me get another sip of tea, and then we are going to start, and I'm going to actually start my timer because I don't want to be more than 15 minutes. And I just need to get some heat on this throat. And that's just some green tea with some lemon. All right, so today's devotion comes from Genesis 38. And I'm just using my Bible app. And you can use your Bible app. And just make sure you're showing me the time when you're getting up and before you're doing it. So I'm just going to read 10 verses out of the Message Bible. And I like the Message Bible because it reads like a story. So I'm going to do the Message Bible, and then I'm going to go over what I actually wrote out. So Genesis 38, the Message Bible. And let me just give a disclaimer. I am not a minister. I'm not a pastor. I'm not an elder, a deacon. I'm just me. And I'm just putting myself through a challenge. All right, so let's make that clear. Genesis 38. About that time, Judah separated from his brothers and hooked up with a man named Absalom. Named Hira. While there, Judah met the daughter of a Canaanite named Shua. He married her. They went to bed. She became pregnant and had a son named She got pregnant again and had a son named Onan. She had still another son. She named this one Shelah. They were living in Kezib when she had him. Judah got a wife for his firstborn. Her name was Tamar. But Judah's firstborn, grievously offended God, and God took his life. So Judah told Onan, "Go and sleep with your brother's widow. It's the duty of the brother-in-law to keep your brother's line alive." But Onan knew that the child would not be his. So whenever he slept with his brother's widow, he spilled his semen on the ground so he wouldn't produce a child for his brother. God was much offended by what he did, and took his life. And that was verse 10. And that was from Genesis 38. And I forgot to set my timer, guys. And I say 15 minutes. All right. So I'm going to put it at 14. All right. So I wrote out my devotion. This is my devotion, and my notes actually have a third page. So I wrote out my devotion of what I got out of here. And let me show you the actual Bible study, the actual Bible plan that I'm doing. So I'm using the YouVersion app, okay? And in there they have plans. So the plan that I'm actually doing is Bishop Jakes has a plan, and there's more to you. So I hope you guys can see that. And this is there is more in you. There is more in you. So I'm doing the day 1 of the plan. I had started it, and then I was like, I wanted to do this. And they have multiple scriptures, but I just read the first one that is in there. So day 1, there is more in you. And there's a whole lot of plans in the Bible app. Anybody is welcome to follow me on the Bible app. All right, so there is more in you, day 1, and day 1's theme is make an impact. And out of this, I got, he states that God chooses people who makes mistakes. He doesn't choose perfect people. And he continuously uses them as long as they're working towards their purpose, unlike people in the world who, when you mess up, people tend to throw you away. But God continues to use us when we're working towards our purpose, because he knows that through our purpose that we're going to make an impact on the world, on the kingdom. And God is very much interested in that. And in this passage, he talked about how when God visits us, when we spend time with God, and he visits us, that He wants our takeaway to be long lasting, everlasting. He doesn't want it to be minute by minute or moment by moment, and then we forget it. He wants us to be able to use what he imparts in us through our times with him, throughout our days, our weeks, our months, our years, that we can carry it on and share it with other people. And so God gave Onan a purpose. So Judah had and did not want to fulfill his purpose. Well, no. Well, kind of, I don't know. I wasn't there. But did things that were displeasing to God. So I'm just going to assume, just me, assume that he wasn't fulfilling his purpose and God took his life. So Onan was next up to bat. And back in the day, when a woman became a widow, the next son would take the place. But Onan didn't want to do that because back in the day, now we know today that if you plant seed, that is your child. But back in that day, when a older brother passed away, and then the next brother came in to continue the bloodline, that in their mindset, it's not my child, it's my brother's child, even though it's your seed. And I'm not sure why they thought that, or why they think that, or why that was like their law or rule, but that is what it is. So he would sleep with her, go to bed with her, as the Message Bible put it. He would go to bed with her, and instead of implanting his seed, he would waste it on the ground, and this displeased God very, very much. And so, the way the Bible tells it is like it happened more than once that he would do it. So Onan wasn't fulfilling his purpose as far as their law was concerned, that he wasn't fulfilling his purpose, and then he died. And so I think about how many times that we abort our purpose. Like we know, not we know, but a lot of times we may stifle our purpose. Stifle meaning like suffocate our purpose. When we ask God for something, we go to God in prayer and you be like, Lord, I'm here for you. Send me. I'll do whatever you want to do. And then God gives us a purpose. He reveals his purpose to us. And then we're like, I can't do that. Lord, why did you ask me to do that? I can't do that because I'm too quiet, I'm too shy. People are going to think this, that, and the third of me. People are going to think, I can't do my morning devotion on YouTube because people are going to start thinking I'm trying to be a minister. No, I'm not. But like we get these things in our head, like I want it. And then we stifle our purpose by coming up with all these kind of excuses as to why we can't do it. And then I also think about times when God gives us a purpose, like for the day. I wake up and one of the things that I pray when I'm praying is like, Lord, help me show the love of Christ on today. That is like one of my, repetitive things that I pray as I'm going out. And sometimes we stifle our daily purpose in, I'm going to use me. I may stifle my daily purpose in the things that I eat. So say for instance, in my mind, I want to go to Walmart after work. But I know how my body works and how my body is. But throughout the day, I'm eating a lot of bad foods. And so instead of being able to go right to Walmart when I get off of work, I got to go home and use the restroom. All right. So in doing that, say like there was a person who's been on your mind, person on my mind all week. I wonder how they're doing. Don't pick up the phone to call. So before I go home. So before I get to Walmart, go home, go to the restroom. And before I get out the door, check in social media, and I see that very person that was in my thoughts, on my mind, was at the very same place that I was at. And I missed the opportunity to be purposeful in that day, to show the love of Christ on that day, because I didn't take care of my temple on that day, and I had to divert from the actual plan. Now, of course, there's always going to be, other people, but that particular person that you just, that you miss, because, I relate everything to food, because food is, my best friend and my worst enemy. And so I'm also thinking about, how can we make an impact on the world when we stifle our purpose, when we suffocate our purpose, and we don't treat it properly, so that we can carry it out and be victorious in our purpose. So that was one of the things. I don't know how I got from there to there, but that was what came to my mind on when I was reading my devotion. And so, oh gosh, already 15 minutes. All right, so let me just stop it, because I did, I was telling me I had 5 minutes left. Okay, it's telling me I had 5 minutes left. I didn't know it gave you a warning. Very interesting. Unless I have another alarm set. Maybe I have another alarm set. All right, let me get back to it. So I'm guilty of that. I don't eat right. I may have some extra butter, extra cheese in my food, and then instead of being able to go right to where I'm supposed to go, or I plan to go, I gotta make a detour. And so that's like one way, for me, that I may stifle my purpose for the day, is because I'm not taking care of myself, and I have to divert. All right, so okay, so then I put on here grace upon grace. So we know that our God is good, so our purpose did not get carried out for that day, for that moment, but God's grace allows us another chance to carry out that purpose. So we keep so the cycle keeps going, because this is kind of repetitive with us as humans. We do what we want to do, but God continuously shows us grace and allowing us to continue on with the purpose, as long as we are pressing to continue on with the purpose that He has given, for us. And what else I say? So I talked about why we say we can't do it. And that is it. So see, guys, it didn't take long. You just talk about whatever that came to mind. Even, I don't know, it made sense to me, but I'm just doing this just to get into the routine. And then today I'll read for tomorrow and do my study for tomorrow. And I'll show you guys my notes if you want to look at my notes, but you don't have to write notes, just so that you can see. Well, I already showed you guys my notes. This is what it looks like. But you don't have to take notes or whatever. So, my purpose is to walk in His purpose, to walk in victory and be victorious at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, at the end of my life. So I appreciate and I thank God for His grace in doing that. All right, so that is it for today, guys. Make sure you wash your hands, drink your water, pray, 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 and mind your business. And until tomorrow, love and blessings. So here's how I wrote out my devotion for today. Using my Happy Planner, Happy Notes, I made a little Bible journal, Bible study journal. And so this is how I did mine. You don't have to do this. I'm just a little extra, and I love my stickers. And then I actually went on the back page, and then I'll start day 2 right over here. But it's not something that you have to do. Just showing you guys what I did.